So strange. Interesting. I couldn't hear anything. I hope y'all could hear that. Let me check something real quick, because I don't know if my stuff's working. Test. Come on. Facebook, why y'all just made shit so not good? Hey, there it goes. Well, alright. Hi. Sorry about that. Hello, and welcome to Guidance and Recovery, your sobriety journey podcast with your host, Keegan. Now, it is Friday. Y'all know what that means. It is live stream day for 15, 20 minutes or so. And what we're going to do with that is another Cards for Thought. I'm not going to bore y'all with the whole, let me go ahead and shuffle and see what pops out all of the moment, because I wanted to be a little bit more prepared this time. So I did it right before I recorded. So here, this is what we got. Ready? On two cards. First up, Two of Water. Second up, Desire. All right, yay! So it was from the Dreams of Gaia Tarot again, and so we got two cards again. So first up was the Two of Water. You may not be able to see it too well, but there you go, a little bit different. And also, if you're curious, you can read more about it yourself over on this. All you have to do is click the link and it'll take you to a website that's got the image. And I forgot I can also do that. Here, watch. Because I got a little bit more prepared. Wonder. There we go. Yay. So, Two of Water. So, real quick, keywords: intimacy, closeness, trust, commitment, reconciliation, equality, union, codependency, and taking sides. Now, what does that have to do with being in recovery? Great question. Because one of the things recovery has taught me is that connection is vital to life. And not only that, it's also one of the cures for addiction. Now, it's not going to solve everything, because the shadow of this card is codependency, pretty much. So that's kind of the thing too, is that maybe we're too dependent on someone or something, such as alcohol, and we're just needing to kind of take a little bit of a break from it, maybe. But also, that's the thing, is that intimacy does not have to be with someone else either entirely. Now, the card does show two people, and intimacy usually is for two people. But if you're like me, then you got two people plenty up in your head, and you're trying to figure out who you are, what you want, and so on and so forth, and it can be kind of hard. But I do want to read a little bit more about this card, so let's look at it real quick. Now, key phrase is going beyond infatuation and attraction. Intimacy is sharing, giving, and communication. Time to forgive and seek reconciliation. A meeting of minds and hearts. Put aside judgment and blame. Cherish all of your loves. Maintain independence and avoid codependence. And avoid taking sides. Now, the Two of Water represents a relationship that has moved beyond infatuation and physical attraction, one that is built upon a foundation of deeper mutual love, respect, trust, or shared interests and values. It symbolizes a meeting of the mind and heart that is free of the desire to possess or control. Now, if you're an alcoholic, boy, oh boy, you're probably trying to sit there and control every aspect of your life, and probably not going very well. Otherwise, you wouldn't be wanting to quit in the first place. And that's kind of the thing, right? Like, we can have this relationship with a thing or an idea, and it can be really, really bad for us. And depending on how we view everything, depends on how we interact with it. So for me, alcohol was the savior. Alcohol was what kept me alive. It kept me sane. It made all the bad stuff go away, if even for just 5 minutes. And sometimes I couldn't even bear that. And at the end of the road, I mean, it lasted for like 5 seconds, essentially. Like, oh, yay, great. Now I just drink more. I hate my life. And with your sob story, we don't need to go into war stories here because we're trying to figure out how we can help others get their way to find some hope and recovery. Now, moving forward, this relationship of you is the unification of two hearts and minds, not with the purpose of becoming whole or to complete each other, but with the intent to share, to enrich, and to enhance each other's lives. This is a time of giving, sharing, and communication. A relationship is founded on intimacy. To share your thoughts, feelings, goals, and fears with the one you love is to be intimate. To hold them, to listen, and show interest is to be intimate. To show affection by reaching out to stroke their cheek or hold their hand is to be intimate. The two of hearts, essentially, ultimately symbolizes intimacy within a relationship. So, right there, I just want to highlight again to share your thoughts, feelings, goals, and fears with the one you love is to be intimate. How many of us have sat there and told ourselves we are not worthy or we don't deserve our wants, our desires, our dreams, our goals, or even our fears? We're silly for having fears. We're supposed to be fearless. Yeah, right. So that's kind of the thing. We have to learn to be intimate with ourselves. That means showing quote unquote weakness. And it also just really is not a weakness. You know, there's a line of everything. It's harmony, it's balance. And we have to learn where are we not showing up for ourselves? Because for a long time, I wanted someone else to come and save me because I didn't think I could do it on my own. In fact, I didn't even think I was worth it, the, even worthy of it. And oddly enough, at the same time, it's like I'm too good for anyone else. Blah blah blah. See, being in addiction is a mind fuck to say the least because there's a lot of contradicting thoughts, a lot of contradicting patterns of thinking, and just different beliefs that don't line up, that fight each other. And it's kind of like, well, where the hell am I getting these ideas from? Like, why do I hold such a hatred towards myself, but I can't seem to not hate myself? Or, it's alcohol again, like I said, it would shut everything up. It would ultimately make things better, but not really. It just kind of put a little blindfold on me for a few minutes, and I just kind of walked around hoping that all's good and well in the world. And deep down, I knew it wasn't. I wasn't listening to myself. I wasn't being intimate with what I was afraid of. And it was one of the things I learned in rehab was that, damn, I'm scared of so much. I'm so terrified of a lot of things. I kind of knew that because I had generalized anxiety growing up. I was on Xanax for years. I was anxious and just scared of the world. I already knew that. But alcohol made it better, right? It made me not have to worry about what other people thought, right? It made me think that I was more social, made me more likable, more normal. It slowed down my brain enough to be on par with everyone else. And so I would have a better time understanding social cues. So then maybe I could actually do other things or some I don't know. Or really just learn to accept myself. But I hated myself at the same time. So yeah, fun story. All that. And I'm still figuring myself out. I'm still learning how to be intimate with myself because damn, it's hard. I didn't have anyone really teach me how to accept myself. I have a little children's book that says it's okay to be different kind of thing. And it's like that's kind of what I was raised on, but at the same time, I saw very quickly that being different got a lot of bad rep for a lot of people in a lot of different areas. And I always wanted to be different, but I always wanted to be accepted too. So the real intimacy needs to come from within, and then I can be intimate with others And then that's where the real magic and recovery happens, is just making connections. It's being able to say, hey, I see you in your pain, and I want to let you know that there's some hope out there. Everyone's walk in recovery is different, and everyone's walk in addiction is different too. So I'm not trying to say this is how it is for everyone. I'm saying that this is my experience, that I needed to become intimate with myself to really get a good grasp of what recovery looks like, so that I know that I can be sober, that I don't have to go and chase a bottle whenever life hits the fan, because if I did that, I wouldn't be here right now. Because I don't even want to talk about it. And I digress. So let's move on to the second card, which was desire, because we may be stuck in a cycle of addiction. We may be stuck trying to get away from alcohol, to stop the drinking, and we may be able to set it down for a couple days, maybe a week, maybe even 2 weeks. But eventually, something comes along and says, last time I didn't feel this good whenever I was drinking, so now that I feel good, I'll have control. Haha. Beat that, science. And it doesn't work that way, my friend. It really doesn't. Trust me, I know. I don't know how many times I actually tried to stop drinking, and I got the furthest along whenever I was healing up for my femur being broke because I couldn't walk. So, guess where I went as soon as I could start walking again? Yep. I don't even want to say it because you already know. So that's what I'm saying, is that I wanted to stop drinking a lot, but I also didn't at the same time. And I think this desire card really hits it, like reasoning why. So, desire, and then we're going to do share screen. We're going to do a window, and we're going to do that again. And we're going to come over here and desire. Woo! All right. So let you look at that for a little bit while I talk about it. Desire, keywords: desires, wants, dreams, ambition, goals, price, gestation, manifestation, consequences, selfishness. Key phrases. Oh, and you can also do this. Click. What do you desire most? How much do you want it? Desire compels action. Make another attempt. Great expectations. Great disappointment. Ground your desires in reality. What you desire will have a price. Wishful thinking. Has your desire waned or changed? Let your conscience be your guide. To desire something at the expense of another, and selfish desires mirror a lack within. So now that right there, for a lot of us, again, in addiction, we're really just striving for some kind of connection with ourselves, with others, something to let us know that we're not alone, and that even though we may be in pain, it's going to be okay in the end, somehow, way, shape, and form. But in the middle of it, sure don't look like it. And so there's a lot to read here. I'm not going to read all of this, but I do want to highlight a few things that it does say, because it just has to go with whenever we want to quit drinking, whenever we want to put something down and call it good, and we find ourselves back at it within 2 weeks or a month or so. And we have to ask ourselves, why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep, quote unquote, relapsing? Why do I keep failing, or whatever else you want to talk to yourself about? First of all, you need to learn to be intimate and not say those bad words. You're learning. It's course correction. You're figuring out what stumbles you so that you can learn to regain your balance faster and maybe even avoid those pitfalls. But whenever it comes to desire, to lust or crave is to desire. In simple terms, desire means to want something. It is the fourth influence, blah, 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 blah. So this card asks, what is it that you want, and how much do you want it? It uses a neat little analogy here. So, for example, you desire a glass of water. It's hot outside. You are thirsty. However, you're in the middle of the garden, covered in mud and sweat, and the floor in the house has just been cleaned. How much do you really want that glass of water? What are you willing to do in order to have that glass of water? You can almost feel the coolness as it slides down your throat, washing away the parched dryness of your mouth. It's going to be so nice, but having that glass of water involves putting down your tools, halting your progress, cleaning yourself off, taking off those muddy shoes, going inside, getting a glass, filling that glass, drinking the water, then putting your muddy shoes back on before coming back out and getting back to work. So, how much do you want that glass of water? How much do you desire it? Do you want it enough to stop and do what needs to be done in order to have it now? Or are you more inclined to wait until the task in front of you is completed? Could waiting also have consequences? This is desire in action. Now, whenever I was reading that, I did have to kind of go like, fuck. Because in retrospect, in hindsight, I did not have the desire to actually quit drinking. What it was is I had the desire to not be in pain, but I had no fucking idea what that looked like. I had no idea how to even start that kind of thing. It was something that I was very much hesitant on, even admitting that I was in pain. Again, weakness. I don't need that. I can just suffer through life with a smile. And it doesn't work that way, and I thought I had the desire to quit. I really did. I really, 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 really did. The amount of times I told myself that I wanted to quit, I need to quit, I should quit. If I don't, I'll die. If I don't, I'll lose everything. The amount of times that I said that to myself and still found myself drinking made me really, really, really confused because I thought that that's what I wanted. That's what I desired, right? I wanted to quit drinking and it would solve all my problems, easy. But that's why after a week, 2 weeks, or a month, the desire to drink again, to numb the pain, came back faster than ever. Sometimes worse, because while I was sober, I wasn't actually addressing the things that were causing me pain because those were things I didn't need to talk about. They were things that could be brushed under the rug. They were the things that could be kept in the closet and no one ever had to look at or see. And I'll never have to put on that funeral outfit ever again, right? Whatever. So that's kind of the thing. I didn't know where I needed to put my desires. I didn't know where I needed to put forth the effort, the action, the energy to get out of addiction. Again, I thought getting into recovery was just putting down the bottle, stopping bad habits, stopping this, that, or another. No, recovery is so much more. You can sit there and put down the bottle, but if you don't do anything to fix the pains that you're feeling, you'll just turn into a dry drunk. And again, I've said this before, but I personally would rather deal with a drunk that's an asshole than a dry drunk that's an asshole, because at least the drunk, I have the alcohol to blame for their bad behavior. The dry drunk is just an asshole. So, and that's the thing too. Being in recovery does not make everyone happy go lucky all the time. Sometimes a lot of us are dealing with a lot and we don't know how to deal with it. And so we deal with it in the way that we were kind of raised around. And a lot of the time, for myself at least, there's a lot of pent up anger and a lot of just dismissal of emotions and so on and so forth. So whenever you're trying to heal emotional wounds and you keep on ignoring them and you keep on pushing everything to the side because it's not real, it's not going to kill you, guess what? It just comes back saying, give us attention because otherwise we're going to ruin your life. Like, okay, well, I digress again. But to desire to get sober, to get into recovery, means we're going to have to make sacrifices, some sorts. Some people lose entire friend groups. Some people lose their loved ones or their spouse or something. Almost any kind of recovery is going to have some sort of loss, even if it's just the substance itself. But we can sit there and we can look at the substance and the amount of time that we lose in drinking, the amount of time that we lose in a daze, the amount of time, all that, everything that goes into what happens after the alcohol touches our lips. that's lost whenever we're trying to get sober. Now, it doesn't have to be a bad loss. Again, if we're losing time that we were going to be drunk, then we gain time that we're going to be sober. But if you're like me, boredom is one hell of a trigger, and fuck, sometimes being bored is the worst thing ever for me because I got to figure out something to keep my brain and my hands busy. You know that saying, "Devil's hands are the idle hands are the devil's playground." There we go. It's a good movie. You should watch it. Idle Hands. I digress. But if you're sitting there and fighting that boredom kind of thing because you have too much time on your hands all of a sudden, find a hobby. Find something that you actually feel a little bit of a spark for. And sometimes being an active addiction just killed off those happy parts of us. But there's actual reasoning for it. You know, whenever we're drinking, we're actually replacing a whole bunch of chemicals that our body can make on its own. And then whenever we stop drinking, we stop getting those extra chemicals, and our body goes, "Mm, no, that don't work." So it takes a little bit before the brain and the body get back on track and get to the point to where everything's functioning like it should. It does take a little bit of time on a physiological sense, but it is possible. It is going to correct itself, but you can do anything and everything that you can, but it's not going to be a magic trick to where, oh yeah, you're oh yeah, your recovery is amazing. You're 3 days sober, everything it feels great. Enjoy that pink cloud while you're on it, man, because eventually it's going to pop and you're going to find yourself flat on your ass and hopefully still sober, but you're going to be like, what the hell is going on now? Those pink cloud days are amazing. Don't get me wrong. But the thing is, we have to learn how to make every day a pink cloud kind of day. But we don't make it a pink cloud because then it's like, are we really grounded in reality? Are we just living in a spiritual psychosis of sorts? Hopefully not. But that's the thing. We have to learn life. We have to have the desire to relearn the things that we thought that we knew. Because if we actually knew the things that we said that we knew, we may have not ended up where we were, and we didn't really like where we were, so now we have to figure a way out of where we are. And recovery is usually the best way to go if we find ourselves in the midst of addiction, whether that be substance or process or behaviors, whatever. So we have to find a way to be intimate with ourselves, be intimate with others, let them know, let ourselves know. This scares the shit out of me. Okay, cool. Good. Because then whenever you do that, that's whenever you become brave. That's whenever you show courage. Not sitting there going like, nothing scares me. I'm not going to do it though, but it doesn't scare me. Like, I don't know about you, but I've done a lot of fucking scary things in the last 4.5 years that I'm like, oh, huh. I didn't think I could do that. And here I am. Don't get me wrong. I'm still scared as shit on a lot of things, but the thing is that I know how to handle myself. I know that I'm not going to die just from feeling awkward and uncomfortable, even though sometimes I wish that I would. But everything will start to eventually make sense. Everything will start to fall into place. We have to do different things different. Because if we keep doing the same thing, expecting different results, it's not going to get us anywhere. And I don't know about you, but I tried the same shit time and time again, thinking that I just had to put the bottle down, put the can down. I'll be okay. Nah, I had to do a lot more than that. I had to pick up the phone. I had to start calling people. I had to start sitting there and listening to stories about other people's addictions and go, never thought about it that way. Or, wow, that's a really cool like perspective. Like, again, one of my favorite episodes that I've done so far is with Alicia and Damien Bloss, you know, because we got to hear Damien's side of the story, but we got to hear his spouse, Alicia. We got to hear her side of the story. We got to hear the things that I put my ex-wife through. Like, holy shit, like, so yeah, it was a mind-opening experience. But that's the thing, is that we don't know what we don't know. So If you think someone doesn't like you, maybe you should just ask. If you think that you're in a bad situationship, maybe you should leave. If you find yourself unable to change many things, find out the things you can change and try to work on that. And a lot of the time, again, that's with us. That's the two of water. It's being intimate with ourselves so that we can be intimate with others. And then hopefully that will give us enough desire to quit drinking and to change for the better, but not for others. The two of water warns us about codependency. We have to sit there and be dependent upon ourselves. So you could be codependent with yourself. That's called hyper independence. Don't do that. So we just need to learn how to be independent. We need to learn how to complement each other and then go forward from there. But it's hard. Trust me, I know. Really easy to say these things or maybe even listen to them if you've listened this far, but that's things that I know that you can do it. I believe in you. You are amazing. And I just want you to know that this world's a better place in it. This world's a better place with you in it. There we go. Sorry, my brain skipped a few words. So it's like texting nowadays. Yeah. I digress for the fourth time. So with that being said, we're a little bit further along than I'd anticipated. So thank you for listening to Guidance and Recovery Sobriety Journeys podcast. And we'll see y'all in the future. But try to love yourself, love others if you can. But you got to try to love yourself first. Call 988 if you need anyone to talk to while you're in a crisis of some sorts, or you can text 741-741 if you don't feel like calling. But maybe just let someone know how you're doing, and maybe they'll surprise you. So, with that, I hope you have a good rest of your evening, and we'll see y'all tomorrow. Much love. Krishna.